Sure. Well, I mean, the main objective to doing all this is to feel better, and to be more happy.
Right.
And what's great is we've seen significant improvement for me there. I can report that there's been no negative side effects.
Yeah.
Everything that's been important to improve has had improvement. So if I was to offer you a suggestion, it would be to at least try this type of nutrition plan for at least 3 months and see how that's going for you.
It's Mesha. Today I'm here with my husband Jake. We are in video 3. Okay, this is part 3 of our mental health series that we've been doing.
So in this video we're going to share more about my results from the last 4 months and talk about the connection between nutrition and mental health.
If you guys saw the past videos and they are helping you, if this is helping you at all, let us know. Let us know by just liking the video, or subscribe, follow, make comments on the videos. Like I've said in previous videos, you can also give us private messages. It's so motivating for us to know that you guys, that this is making a difference for you guys.
Yeah, even in the last week, we've had people reach out to you personally, and then they've also reached out to me personally.
Personal phone calls.
And so
it's awesome. It's really fantastic.
Yeah, just like the statistic of, approximately 25% of people are affected by some type of mental health challenge or issue. We're seeing people already start to reach out, and so it's been awesome.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, if you haven't seen the first 2 videos, video 1 is an introduction to a little bit of our backstory with mental health and what this is all about, right? And then in video 2, we give you all of the supplements that seemed to help Jake seriously immediately and are still helping him 4 months in. So check out those videos. I'll put a link to them right here if you haven't watched them so that this video and everything we're going to talk to you about in this video will make sense, things that we reference from the other videos.
So over the last 4 months, we've committed to a new level of nutrition.
Yeah.
To say the least.
To say the least, yeah. Yeah. It is a little bit, and we're going to get into the ins and outs of what we're doing, but I'm going to tell you right now that the reason behind what we're doing is eventually your body has the ability to kind of push a reset button, and then you no longer need the supplements that you needed so intensely to support that brain chemistry and everything that's going on with your mental health. Okay, so we don't really know the results of that because it's just not time to go off of the supplements yet and to be able to tell you what that looks like. But we are going to talk to you about the benefits that we've seen thus far that are really, really huge. They're awesome. And then we're also going to talk to you about the science and why it made sense for us to take this on and do this differently, to do this new level of nutrition in the first place. And we're going to talk to you about what it is that we're actually doing. Okay, so share with us, Jake, the benefits that you've seen thus far.
The most important thing here is trying to feel better and to be more happy. For me, there's been very high levels of stress and anxiety for many years.
Yeah.
So that's all that I cared about when we started going down this path.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's been a significant improvement,
Feeling better. Yeah. Okay, so how about that time that we went to play with the kids and we went to play Ultimate Frisbee in the park?
Right.
Yeah.
We had only been with this new nutrition plan for about 2 weeks. And I was already feeling much better, mentally.
Yeah.
And every week I'm on a soccer field coaching kids, so I'll usually play with the kids and participate in some of the games and drills that we do, and that's fun for me.
Run hard, sprint hard.
Sure.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of days that it doesn't work to run hard and sprint hard. Joints hurt. Yeah, I'm just not in very good shape.
Feel kind of old.
Right. So 2 weeks into eating this new way, and we went and played this game as a family and had some other friends that were there. I could not believe how freeing it felt. So my energy and my endurance was completely different. Better than I had felt in many years.
Yeah, youthful.
Great word.
I felt that way too. We looked at each other and we were like, wow, are you noticing this?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with joints, I would describe other times when I'm playing something that my joints will get very achy or not feel like they're holding up very well.
Yeah.
you know, but this time was completely different.
Right.
You know, I felt like I wanted to just keep going, but we had to get home for something else.
And it's consistently improved even since that first 2 weeks. So that's really amazing. I'm a yogi. Like, I've seen it show up there too. So, like, I can pull off some things. I can pull off some poses and some things that I had been working on, and I could hold them for a couple of seconds, but man, I can pull off some cool stuff, and I really do attribute it to this because it happened so quickly. You know, it was like a 2 week span, and I was doing something in yoga, and I was Jake was with me that day, and I was like, oh my gosh, are you seeing this? Like, this is so cool. Anyway, it's just a really cool feeling. I would say too I don't feel like sluggish. You know, like usually I'm just going to tell you guys, I would crack open like a Zip Fizz or like mix up a Zip Fizz like every day around 3 or 4 o'clock. That's normal. Or some other like drinks that had like caffeine in it, just because I kind of needed a little bit of boost in the day, and I don't feel that anymore. Would you say the same?
Right. I don't feel that at all.
Yeah. Yeah, not that we don't feel that lull in our day of just that crash. And then another thing is I'm super, super sensitive if I don't get like my 8 hours of sleep. You know, and I wouldn't say to the point where I can't go like a couple nights, maybe like one night, and then if I catch up the next night, I'm fine or whatever. But I've totally noticed that my body doesn't react the same way when I don't get the amount of sleep that I want. Yeah, I'm not dragging. It's
just more energy in general.
Yeah. And then weight.
Right.
Weight was a total byproduct.
You know, I don't have an official starting and ending point. I haven't been on a scale lately. I know from the last time I was on a scale that I've been upwards of 25 pounds is what I've lost. You know, and a lot of that was in the first, I would say the first 2 to 3 months. Yeah,
just letting go.
Because even in one of the previous videos, we talked about how between one appointment and the next, with a counseling appointment, and when I had weighed, I had already lost like 10 to 12 pounds.
Yeah. And then for me as well, I don't know if any of you guys did like the Body for Life train or something like that.
Going way back.
Yeah, going way back.
2000s.
But the point is like I am better than I ever was like when I was really committed to that. So like as far as weight, I'm like under that weight, which I like, again, we didn't try. Dr. Hodson with her protocol, she has things that she would tell you to also include, like she would have you maybe measure out things, or you know, have certain things that you do if you are trying to lose weight, or certain foods to avoid as well if you are trying to lose weight. And we didn't do any of that.
That wasn't our objective at all.
We weren't like, we want to lose some weight. No. We were just wanting to fix, you know, a lot of what was going on with Jake's brain chemistry. So that's why we did it. And then we had these awesome benefits that came as a byproduct. So that was awesome.
You know, one of the things that's been interesting with conversations we've had with people that have contacted us, you know, many of them have been on some type of a prescription. And so they comment that it works great, and we know that those things work great. And so for the right person, they need to be on certain prescriptions.
Yeah.
But then you always learn there's always some type of side effect. Something that there's these pros that they're experiencing, which is important.
Yeah.
But then there's the cons.
Yeah.
And with a lot of them, it's changes to physical health.
Yeah. Changes to physical. They're gaining weight, or they lose their appetite entirely and forget. Like, if you don't remind them to eat, then they just forget because they don't have an appetite. So anyway, that's just been something that we haven't experienced.
So far, I can report that there's been no negative side effects.
Yeah.
Everything that's been important to improve has had improvement. And that's now included the byproduct of losing a lot of weight as well. Yeah.
And you know, we've had a few people comment that our skin looks different. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if you think our skin looks different. You'll have to like scroll back in our Instagram feed, but honestly, like, yeah, I feel like it looks a little bit different, and it's kind of a cool feeling, you know. It feels more healthy. Just feels more healthy. So when we tell you what we're doing, it does take commitment, okay? And I want to talk to you first about like why we chose to do this, and like what made us commit to something that some people would view as pretty radical. I don't know. Like, it's kind of like that thing where it's like, well, living with mental health issues is radical. You know what I mean? So Let's think about that for a second. So it just depends on like your mindset. But honestly, like what caused us to commit to that, Jake? What would you say to that?
I think the first thing that I experienced was enough fear with things that I was learning. When I was speaking with medical professionals, and when they're telling me that the latest studies are showing that when you're experiencing certain things as young as I still am in my early 40s, that they're able to trace that and see that there are people that it's signs of early onset Alzheimer's or other significant mental
ALS, Lou Gehrig's, like that.
Yes, things that can cause someone to die.
Yeah.
And so,
or live a horrible life while they're living.
Well said. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I realized that if that's a possibility, that I was willing to do whatever it would take, even if that meant changing our lifestyle with nutrition.
Yeah. So fear was a little bit of, or a huge motivator for you.
Sure.
Yeah. And yeah, I would say that we just kind of got to a point where it was like, we'll try anything that will really work. Like we'll try that.
Yeah.
Because it just and then aside from that, the science.
Right, yeah, because the more that we were looking, I mean, there's so many documentaries that we've watched that are incredible, and I'm sure you're linking those as well.
I'll link the most important, the things that I think are the most important to see. I'm going to link them below. Right,
so through conversations, through documentaries, there's certain things about the science that just made complete sense to us. Even with where I'm at in learning about this, and you've spent a lot more time researching this, I would say that some of the main topics to be discussing, at least how it's related to me, is your gut and microbiome, glyphosates, and how that influences or affects the foods that we eat.
Glyphosates, it's a big word. Say it again, glyphosates. Glyphosates, that's going to be a huge word today that we're going to talk about.
And then serotonin levels.
Serotonin levels and how glyphosate affects the serotonin levels. So we'll jump into this just for a minute. So this first little bit is really, really popular. Okay, the idea that your gut microbiome or your gut flora is considered your second brain. Okay, so science considers that your second brain. And your gut microbiome are all of the microorganisms, all of the different types of bacteria. Okay, and we're talking like over 1,000 different types of bacteria and like tens of trillions of microorganisms, okay, that are existing in your gut flora. And the things that we're eating are disrupting that function, the way that functions, and the way that your gut communicates with your brain. So in other words, if your gut isn't healthy, your brain does not have the ability to be healthy either. The biggest thing to understand about this is that it doesn't, you can't fix that by just taking a pill or drinking something or taking some really great probiotics. You can't fix it by that. You have to focus on what you are putting in your body, because it's what we're putting in our body that's disrupting it in the first place. So if you're taking something that's improving it, it's like you're just always playing catch up, because it's like I'm putting in the bad and I'm taking the good and I'm just trying to play catch up all the time, and you're never really getting on top of it, right? Okay, so but what is causing this to happen? Because like our parents and our parents, they never had, they didn't talk about gut flora. They didn't talk. That wasn't like a normal thing that everybody knew back then, because it wasn't an issue. So what is it that's come into play? And this is the biggest part. This is where glyphosates come in. So we're gonna talk to you about what glyphosates are.
Right. So glyphosates are the main ingredient in Roundup. Yeah.
The main chemical.
And so Roundup is sprayed on just about everything that is produced.
That you eat. Okay, and what that does is it makes the weeds not grow, obviously, and it also makes the bugs stay away from your food. Like the bugs won't eat it, right? But guess who's eating it? Like we are, right? So if you just scroll back in your mind and like take a bird's eye view picture of this, it just doesn't make sense that they are genetically modifying our food enough so that it's Roundup resistant, so that it kills weeds, it kills bugs, but what's it doing to us? Like we're still participating in eating that. So you guys, glyphosates are it is shown, and I'm going to link below so that you really can dive into this science and understand because that's when it really made a difference for me, is when I understood that glyphosates are making us sick. Glyphosates are making us sick physically, like all kinds of disease and issue. Physically, glyphosates are making us sick, and they're also making us sick mentally. So all of this mental illness awareness, like the stem, like the root is glyphosates. Sure, there's other chemicals and things you can talk about, but glyphosates are like the main thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if there's one thing that you are going to spend a lot of time researching, it's glyphosates, and then form your own opinions based on that.
Yeah, do that. Do you remember that documentary that we watched that was called The Caroline on Your Plate? Do you remember where the girl cures her son of autism?
Yes.
Remember that? That for me, okay, and I'm going to link that below, but there's a woman who cures her son of autism by just taking glyphosates out of his diet. Okay? So we're doing a little bit more than just taking the glyphosates out, and we're going to get into everything that we're doing. But that is the main, like my backup, my reason, what I keep going back to is like our guideline, our main guideline. Yeah, so the woman cured her son of autism, and then also in that documentary, it was suggested or shown that some people were testing their glyphosate levels. You can test it in blood, urine, and in your hair. So glyphosate shows up in your body, and I don't know why knowing that affected me so much. Like, it was like, what's the glyphosate level in my body? That's disgusting, and especially considering that, like, a lot of the packaged items and the things that taste really great, are the highest percentage of glyphosates. Those foods like Oreos that are really yummy. Yeah. Those are like really crazy high in glyphosates. I'm sorry to like break your day. Okay, something that's really important to understand about glyphosate that like helps you rearrange it in your brain is that if we're putting that chemical in our body, then there's two ways that our body can get something that's called tryptophan, which is an amino acid, okay? There's two ways. It's by eating the foods that have tryptophan, and then our body can make tryptophan, okay? So when your food has glyphosate in it, it takes away the ability for the food to carry tryptophan. When the glyphosate goes in our body, it also inhibits our body from making tryptophan. And tryptophan is kind of like the backbone for our body being able to make other things like serotonin. And serotonin is like your biggest predictor. When your serotonin levels are low, anytime that you're struggling with mental health issues like depression, anxiety, tons of like mental illness issues, your serotonin levels are low. So if your body doesn't have tryptophan, if your body can't make or get tryptophan, then it can't make serotonin. And if your serotonin levels are low, because your immune system is like dying and trying to get all of the serotonin that is in your body, and so there's none left to support your brain function, your brain chemistry. So that is your biggest reason, is because your body can't make serotonin. So you guys, that's the main reason and the science behind why it makes sense that we're eating what we're eating. So like we said, we're gonna tag some things, we're gonna link some things in the comments below. Do your own research. It kind of takes a lot for me to like regurgitate the things that I've even learned, because you can relate. Like, it's like you learn so much and it makes sense to you, and then regurgitating it is like a whole nother level of having learned it. So I hope I said everything right, but I'm going to link everything below for you guys so that you guys can do your own research and find out why glyphosates are such a huge deal. Okay, so how do you avoid getting all of those glyphosates in your diet, right?
Right. I mean, the basis here is eating organically.
Yes, yeah.
Eating things that have not been sprayed with Roundup or glyphosates.
Yeah, with the Roundup, with glyphosates at all. So, but the cool thing is that through Dr. Hodson's program, and we told you guys about Dr. Hodson in the last video, it is not actually required that every single thing that we eat is organic. Some things are more important than other things, and she has a whole list of things, like you have to eat this organically, and these things are less important to eat organically. So that's kind of a relief.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you're really trying to revamp your life and learn. It's literally so easy the way that she provides like all of the guidelines of what we should eat, because it's not just glyphosates that she has you just avoid. She has you do like an overall like better way to eat, right? Like a complete guide to eating what is really good for you.
Sure, because now we've incorporated all different kinds of grains and beans, things that we hadn't ever eaten before. And you've always cooked very healthy for us in general.
Yeah,
at least based
sure.
on our previous understanding.
Yeah, because we've kind of known about this, like we've known about this for a while, but not to the degree of like making sure that there's no glyphosates present, right? So like we would eat grains and beans because we knew that that was healthy for us, but we didn't know, oh, we've got to get those especially have to be organic because those carry the most glyphosates. So you can eat healthy all day long and all you want, but if you're not eating the things that are, stripped of the glyphosates, then, you're just doing harm to yourself.
So what we eat is grains, beans, whole foods.
Right.
So that includes a lot of organic vegetables. We're still eating some meat throughout the week.
About twice a week, but probably no more than twice.
Sure. Yeah, and then carbs are actually still an important part of nutrition as well.
We do eat a lot of carbs. We eat grains, beans at a 6-to-1 ratio. So we eat grains, like if you're gonna do measurements, we would do like a cup and a half of grain, and this is like for the whole day. We do like a cup and a half in grains and a fourth a cup in beans. Okay, and each body size is a little bit different and varying, and Dr. Hodson can give you all the guides on that. We eat a huge amount of like whole grains, so it's different than the carbs maybe that you think in your mind. Like we don't eat breads, we don't eat like processed foods, we don't eat that. So we eat like the whole grains, and we're here to tell you that like we obviously lost weight eating the carbs. So if you're worried about that, you don't need to be, because
and I'd say that we're losing weight and we're not feeling so hungry in between meals.
And we're not feeling sluggish. So we're eating the carbs that are good for us, and we're eating some, and the bean, like the 6-to-1 ratio of the carbs in the beans actually makes a complete protein. We're still eating meat, but we actually only eat meat about like twice a week. Basically, Dr. Hodson's like mantra is, if God made it, eat it, and if he didn't, then don't. So even on like packages, like I've been on the phone before with Dr. Hodson and been like, okay, like I'll send her pictures of things, and or she'll say like, turn it over, let's read the ingredients, and we'll read the ingredients together, and right? These are the funny ones, the funny phone calls where we're like, she has a reason for every chemical listed that you, when you open up a package, on why we shouldn't eat it.
Right.
Yeah. She also makes it easy because she's got a lot of recipes. She tells me like where to buy things, what things are okay to buy, organically and non-organically. He's just such a great guide on how to do this, because I feel like so many times we watch those documentaries and they tell you like all the bad and like how to like just, but you don't really know how. Like you're still left with not knowing how to feed your family. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that I've just been like, I love everything that I've learned. And yeah, it's taken a little bit of work, but to learn it and to like, do a little bit of a change, but it's been great. Yeah,
I mean, the things that we eat, they taste really good. I mean, It's just been an adjustment, but it's been great.
Yeah. So Jake, I think that a lot of people are probably wondering, like, what about our kids? You know what I mean? And like, how are they responding? Are they eating this with us? And like, is that hard to make two things? Well, we don't really make two things. The food really is.
Sometimes there's
Sometimes especially if they've had like pizza and then we're making, or something like, just sometimes life is kind of like that. But overall, basically, we eat the same thing for breakfast. We eat the same thing at dinner. And, they kind of do their thing at lunch and snacks, and they just kind of do their thing. They're not committed to not being on glyphosates, which I hope that changes. You know what I mean? The more I learn, the more I feel like that's really important for them. But I also understand that, like, it kind of makes social, interactions tough.
Yeah.
Especially, like, if they're going out with their friends and they want to go to lunch or whatever, it can kind of make it hard. Jake and I like have worked through that. When people invite us for dinner or Christmas parties or whatever, we just make sure that what we bring we can eat, and so we just put it there. We share with everybody, and that's what we can eat too. So, I mean, I think that we've tried to make things work.
And they've been fine with the things that we eat.
Yeah, our kids.
When what you make for dinner or for a meal is what you and I are supposed to be eating, and that's what they're eating. They've been fine.
Yeah. So overall, it really is working for us. It's just a new lifestyle that we've adapted to. So if you guys have more questions and you're like really curious about the food, like we'll answer all of your questions. Just leave it in the comments below. Okay, so there's also some other things that Dr. Hodson has us take as part of her program that we're going to show you. Again, remember, this might not be the same thing that she would recommend for you. As part of your gut restore, you might have something else or a different condition that interacts with these things differently, but we're going to go over the ones that we take, and we're going to put her information below, and you can contact her and ask her specifically for your makeup of your situation, what is right for you. Okay, so we take grab those probiotics, Jake. We take these probiotics by Dr. McCullough. These are the ones that Dr. Hodson recommends, and the thing that's interesting that I learned about probiotics is that's something that people know. They know to take probiotics, and that's really good for you. But overall, people take probiotics and they think it's like what they should take forever. Where Dr. Hodson is like, no, you only have to take it for 15 months, and then you can go off probiotics. You don't have to keep taking that over and over.
If you're doing everything else properly.
Yeah. If you're not putting all the junk in your system can hold its own. It can do it on its own. But we've become wired to think that we need probiotics all the time because of our food system. So kind of an interesting mind rearrangement there. So I like that. I liked learning that. Let's see about that, limb tox. So this is herbs, a combination of herbs called a limb tox, and they help detoxify your body. And then you're on that for the first 3 months of Dr. Hodson's program, and then the second three months, well, we are. I don't know what would work for you, but we're on the limb tox for the first 3 months of Dr. Hodson's system, and then we move to something called Triphala. And Triphala is something that helps nourish that gut flora and kind of like build that back up and get it right back, restore it to back to normal, like where it should actually be. Then we do something else called seed tea, and we drink seed tea every day. At the beginning of Dr. Hodson's program, she has a protocol which she'll go over with you for like the first 3 days that's kind of different, and then for the first 2 weeks that you kind of follow to kind of get yourself kind of in gear. And seed tea is a huge part of that program, but then you keep drinking the seed tea every day. So the seed tea is we just put some herbs in water. It's really simple, like detoxifying herbs, and we put some water that's simmering, and then we pour it off and drink 4 cups of that every single day to help detoxify our body. And then we take Micro Daily. So the Micro Daily we talked to you about in video 2 and why it was essential for your brain chemistry, but Micro Daily is also really essential when you're trying to redo your gut, because it helps the micronutrients that it gives you help, in restoring all of your gut flora and all of that stuff. So completely essential. Again, I'll link all of these things at Dr. Hodson's information. I'll put all of that stuff in the comments below so you can see that. I think that's it for like what we take. Let's talk to them about our Phoenix trip, because I feel like that was we went to Phoenix about a month ago or just over a month ago.
Right, just a little before Christmas.
Yeah, and we
the circumstance made it inevitable that we would need to be eating foods that we've been avoiding for the previous 3 months.
Yeah, and it was okay. And it was kind of even a good experience because it helped us see where we're at and the level of what we're doing, how really impactful it really is. So that's what we want to kind of share with you guys about how we felt. I think, Jake, it was probably about 5 meals that we ate out, and we still tried to choose things on the menu that were pretty good. I mean, there was
as close to our plan as possible, but
and then add a few appetizers or something like that, right? Don't tell Dr. Hodson. I'm just kidding. I know she'll see that, but that's okay. The thing is, the bottom line is how we felt.
Yeah.
Kind of like that last day when we were like, okay, we've had 3 days of this, and we were really aware of how we felt.
It was a huge difference. Suddenly felt so sluggish and felt tired much sooner in the day.
Yeah.
Energy just kind of gone. And just even just kind of that, when you eat something that can become a little upsetting to you, where you just kind of feel it, churning in you a little bit. It's just, that's what it was like for several days. And it felt like it took a while
to come out of
that. And then we got to Christmas.
Yeah.
And we had already just kind of resolved, because of family tradition and things we do, that on Christmas Day that we would still partake.
We had like a 24-hour period of. We still tried to choose a lot of organic things, but we ate sugar. You know, we ate like chocolates, and we ate some things, which again we learned like, wow, that makes us feel.
I felt lousy.
Yeah,
and it took a long time. I mean, it took over a week. It felt like to get out of that.
Yeah, and kind of like get that all back out of your system. You know, and I think too, when we were driving home from Phoenix, we both looked at each other, and it was totally like, I don't know, 2:00. It was not like we were in the evening. We looked at each other and we're like, I think we're gonna need like some caffeine to make it home. Remember? Mm-hmm. And we like bought like an organic energy drink.
Allegedly.
So stupid, so dumb. But that is the crux of the system that we're living in. Our food makes us sick, and you know, puts that damper on us, and it makes us sluggish, and it makes us feel old, and it makes us feel, and
we were warned that that's exactly how we were going to feel.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I also even had like when I ate certain things, I had sort of like an allergic reaction where like my nose would run and my eyes kind of felt puffy.
Things that you didn't have that reaction before.
Never.
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting. Just like a little note to take. But yeah, so we really think that like we are on a good path with the nutrition and getting rid of, you know, the chemicals. Trying to get rid of the chemicals out of our diet is the main goal with the nutrition, and then allowing that to affect and help our brain, you know, Jake's brain chemistry, to get him to a point where he can go off of the other supplements that are helping him so much right now. So,
and in my opinion, I would say that we've learned for ourselves what we would consider the highest level of nutrition, and now it's just a matter of how close can we stick to that, you know, on a regular basis.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's a lifestyle change that we've made.
Exactly, and I think especially for the gut microbiome restore period, that it's really, really essential to be as close to the plan as we can. I mean, we made it through Thanksgiving, you guys, without eating any glyphosates. We didn't even eat. We made one of Dr. Hudson's recipes for pumpkin pie, and we made it totally through. It was fine. So it's possible, and you can do it. And I don't really feel like I feel deprived. The other day we stopped. The soccer team stopped at, you know, Dairy Queen, and everybody's having ice cream, and our kids had French fries, and you know. And I was like, man, we could have eaten there, and it was kind of hard because we were hungry. It was dinner time, but we were like, yeah, we're not going to eat anything. We're good. We'll just let the kids eat, and be with the team, because that's again a social thing. It was kind of hard. And then we came home and we had like an amazing salad and some soup that was like, oh, I would way rather eat that. It was just so much better. It tasted better, and I knew the feeling afterwards was just so much better. Yeah. So anyway, I think overall, I think it's interesting because I think our health and our food has always been linked to just feeling better. But I think now that we're learning that there's so much to do with the chemicals, that it's even more important that we really pay attention, and that we know what we're doing, and that we're asking ourselves the question, like, how do you want to live? How do you want to live? What is it that you...
How do you really want to feel?
Yeah.
So if I was to offer you a suggestion, it would be to at least try this type of nutrition plan for at least 3 months and see how that's going for you. Feel the difference it makes. See if it has the benefits that we've experienced. And then if you were to, just like us, if you were to be somewhere and be eating how you normally eat, and see what that feels like, and then you can contrast how you felt in one scenario over the other.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, try to find out like how this all fits with you, and if the science really makes sense to you, then you'll have more of a reason to want to do it. You'll have more of a reason to want to do it.
And if you have information or things that you want to pass on to us, we would love to learn more.
Yeah, whatever you know about nutrition or about glyphosates or anything like that, literally, like, this is the train we're on, and we would love to know. So you guys, until our next video, remember that in our next video we're highlighting some things that are tools, actual devices that you can use to help you with your mental health, and help stabilize your feelings, your focus, some things like that. They're really awesome. we're highlighting those things in our next video, so be watching for that. And until then, do the best that you can in taking care of your own self. And stay tuned, and I'll keep bringing you things, you guys, to help lift your living, to help you live happy and be inspired.